Where is your level of confidence in Ferrari to give Lewis a car that's capable of winning a world championship? Because as long as you and I have known each other and been working together on this podcast, Ferrari has delivered quite a lot of heartbreak to both Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz over the years.
Yeah, and I've been working in Formula One, well, I mean, roughly since 2011, properly. And in that time, Ferrari haven't won a championship. They've come close, and they've always been towards the front. I mean, they've had a few really bad years, but they've always been towards the front, but they've not won a championship. You know, the last one was Kimi Raikkonen, last Drivers' Championship, Kimi Raikkonen, 2007. That is an awfully long time ago. Now, part of that, Lewis will be looking at it and be, I can be the guy that brings Ferrari back to the front in
Could
the
you
way
imagine?
yeah, I mean, it would be, an incredible story. Michael Schumacher kind of did it he did do it in, he joined in 1996. It took 4 years to get to winning in the year 2000, and then he got 5 in a row. But, that was a sensational story back then. And so Lewis will probably thinking, well, can I emulate that? Now, to go back to your question, which was, are Ferrari essentially in a better position than Mercedes at the moment? Hard to say. I mean, they finished 3 points apart from each other in last year's championship. That was in favor of Mercedes. I think the one thing you could say is that Ferrari made better progress over the course of the year, started weaker, but understood the car better and made progress. And the other thing, which I think is actually, what's certainly a factor within Lewis Hamilton's decision, is Fred Vasseur being in charge of Ferrari and what he's done in that time. I think he has changed that team for the better in a number of ways, not just in terms of the performance of the car, which, okay, they haven't won as many races as they won in 2023. But if you look at the starting point they had in 2023, when Fred joined, he didn't really have any say in how they got to that point. And then you look at the progress they made from there onwards, it was significant. And they were the only team to win a race other than Red Bull last year. So I think when he looks at that, he knows Fred very well. They were together in 2006, believe it or not, when Fred Vasseur was running Lewis Hamilton's GP2 team, which was like the Formula 2 of that era. So when Lewis won that championship, he was driving for Fred Vasseur's ART team. And and so they've been in touch ever since. And actually, one of the things Fred said, funny going back through some of the quotes, one of the things Fred said at Ferrari's Christmas media dinner in Maranello was that him and Lewis are in touch, every month, every week. But if I had to sign a contract every time that we talk to each other, I'd have no money left because it would have cost me a huge amount of money. But funnily enough, I mean, we think perhaps that was probably a bit before they started having serious conversations again. And it was probably more January when it really kicked off. So Fred wasn't lying, but that relationship there, I think, is also something which Lewis it would have comforted him in making the decision. It would have given him some confidence, knowing that he could talk directly to Fred, get some very straight answers from Fred. He's a very straight talking guy, and then make a decision based on the facts available. But the other thing, just while we're on what Ferrari can achieve, remember Lewis is making this move in 2015, which is the final year of this set of regulations. In 2026, everything changes, completely. We've got new engine regulations and we'll have new chassis regulations, both of which have the potential to have an upheaval in the similar way we saw in 2022 when initially Ferrari were doing quite well, but essentially Red Bull got the march on everyone else, and Mercedes really struggled. So perhaps there is something Lewis knows about what Ferrari have in store for 2026 because development that has started, certainly on the engine side. And let's not forget when Lewis made his it's considered one of the best, if not the best driver move of all time, when he left McLaren at the end of 2012 to go to Mercedes in 2013. Everyone thought he was nuts because he was going from a team that was in championship contention to a team that had won one race since it returned to the sport in 2010. And yet from 2014, 15, 16, 16 Nico won, but 17, 18, 19, 20, he won championships. And that's what made him a 7-time world champion. So maybe he has seen something in Ferrari that he saw in Mercedes ahead of a regulation change. And so by getting in there a year early, he'll get to know the team, he'll get up to speed. No easy job in a team that is mainly Italian speakers. And Lewis, I think he speaks a little bit of Italian, but I don't think he's fluent. And also going up against a driver like Charles Leclerc, who has been there as long as he has and has such deep ties to Ferrari. He's kind of coming into someone else's team now.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.